To find the least common denominator, or LCD, of two or more rational expressions, you need to first factor all the denominators completely. That is a requirement before you do anything else. Once you do that, you can now find the LCD. And we can say that the LCD is the product of unique prime factors from the denominators in which each factor is raised to the highest power to which it appears in any denominator. So first I'm going to look at 2/3 and 5/7. And I'm only going to be focusing on the denominator 3 and 7. So 3 and 7. So I can say that 3 is 3 times 1, and 7 is 7 times 1. So when I'm looking for the LCD, I'm looking for what is in common that's not a 1. 1s are irrelevant. So the LCD is going to be the prime factors of each denominator. So this factor 3 has 1, but this factor over here for 7 has no 3's, so I'm going to need a 3 in my LCD. This factor over here, 7, there's 1 7, but up here there are no factors of 7, so I'm going to need a 7. And now there's nothing else in here, and again, I don't worry about the 1's. I just take my two factors, 3 and 7, and I multiply them together, and I get 21. So the LCD of these two fractions is 21. For the fractions 4/15 and 8/9, I again look at my denominators, and I only focus on those. And so I can say that 15 is just 5 times 3, and I can see that 9 is 3 times 3. So when trying to find the LCD of this, I look for what's in common. So I see that there's a 3 in common to both, so I can bring that down. So don't worry about those. And I see that this factor up here has a 5 and no 5 down here, so I'm going to need to bring a 5 down. And this has a 3, and this does not have a 3, so I'm going to need another 3. So once I do that, I just multiply 3 times 5 times 3, and I will get the LCD of 45 for these two fractions. Now that's how you would do it when you have just numbers. But how is it done when you have variables involved? So let's look. 3x squared y and 9xy cubed. So I'm not going to write out the factors of 3 and 9. You can do that on your own. But let's focus more on the exponents and the variables. So the LCD, first off, between 3 and 9 is 9. And then I look at my x's. Remember, like it said before, the highest power to which it appears in any denominator. So the highest power here is an x squared, so I need an x squared. And then they both have y's, so the highest power here is cubed, so y cubed. And this is the LCD of these two fractions. So 2a to the 4th b squared and 8ab cubed. So again, I want to know my LCD. And so I look at 2 and 8, and the LCD between 2 and 8 is 8. Between a to the 4th and a, again the highest, which is going to be a to the 4th. And then b squared and b cubed. Again, the highest is b cubed. And there's my LCD for these two fractions. Down here we have x plus 1 and an x minus 4. Now there's really no way you can factor this down. X plus 1 is just itself, and x minus 4 is just itself. So when you try to find the LCD, you just need one of each. So it's going to be x plus 1, x minus 4. and that is the LCD between these two fractions. Last, w squared minus w minus 12 and w squared minus 9. This one's going to take a little bit more work, but what we do is we're going to factor each denominator. So w squared minus w minus 12 can factor down to w minus 4 and w plus 3. And w squared minus 9 is a difference of squares, w minus 3 and w plus 3. And so now I'm going to look for the LCD. They both have a w plus 3 in common, so that's what I'm going to need for my LCD. So I don't need those anymore. But this has a w minus 4, and this does not. And this has a w minus 3, and this does not. So I'm going to need one of each. So w minus 4 and w, not a plus, still not a plus, minus 3. And that is the LCD between these two fractions.